All right, ready. I'm gonna post up a really quick video here on my, just kind of like a word of warning for those of you out there that own a 4runner, one that's got some miles on it, a few years on it. I just spent yesterday doing a complete service with the exception of the transmission. I did the oil, front and rear differentials, and transfer case. It's the first time I've done it on this vehicle. It was my fiance's for many years before we got together, and she just took it to the dealership. So I don't do stuff like that. So I'm servicing it myself. This is my first full service on it. But here is the warning. I'm going to flip it around here. I'm actually washing it right now. It rained all day yesterday, so I've done a full service. I actually got underneath of it and undercoated it, and I'll tell you why I did that. So I'm going to flip it around. This was the spare that was underneath of it. I had to take the spare off to get to the rear differential. Actually, I could get to it, but I needed to put a extension on my breaker bar to break those rear bolts loose to the rear differential. But I had to take this thing off, and the rim has some surface rust on it. But what was really bad was the frame underneath. Like, there's the chain that the tire hangs from, but I'm gonna gut up underneath of it here. I've already undercoated it, but it was so rusted. I was afraid that in the next year or so, or actually maybe not a year, but like the next couple of years, the rear frame would rust all the way through. And I'm not in an area where you have a ton of salt and stuff on the road. So I'm going to show you up under here. This whole area, if you can see it, this whole area where the tire sits up against the body, all this is the frame. It was all rusted, and I was flaking it off all the way here and up. And there's mounts right here where it sits. All of that was rusting through. And like you can see, the rest of the 4runner is in really good shape, although I did go through the whole undercarriage and hit it with some undercoating after it dried out from the rain. But this whole area right through here was all rusted. Where the, I'm gonna get back up out of here, big boy getting up now. Oh. So, that tire just traps the moisture underneath of the 4runner. It just never goes away. It's kind of like this back window. This area always stays wet. Another thing, while I'm at it, I had to replace one of these lights under here, and all of the screw heads were completely rusted off to the point where I had to go under, take this cover off from the inside, and basically cut the light housing out because the lights weren't coming out, and replace a new light housing. And then I took those the screws that came with it and replaced them with stainless steel, because this whole area back here stays constantly wet. And while I was under there's your backup camera. There's two screws that hold that on. I replaced those with stainless steel. And then this light up here, these screws were rusted out. I had to drill these out, and I replaced these with stainless steel. So there's a few words of warning for those of you out there with 4runners. I love it. Don't get me wrong, it's a great vehicle. I've got 166,000 miles on this thing, and it is running strong. And I actually I got a 12-foot trailer down there. That's basically the whole purpose of this 4runner now, is to pull a trailer when I'm doing side jobs and stuff. So yeah, so get that if you have any miles on your 4runner. So, it's more than 5 or 6 years old. Take that spare tire off, undercoat the crap out of the underneath side. I'm going to do a light sand on the wheel here, pump the tire back up, spray paint it black with some just some basic primer with flat black spray paint. And I'm going to put it back up under there. But I feel like if I had waited any longer, say I'd gotten a flat down the road a year or so, that chain would have been so rusted that probably wouldn't have been able to get it down, and who knows if what the wheel would be like in a couple years. So yeah, if you got it, get under there, clean it up. And like I said, the back door, that back hatch, if you can get those screws out now, get them out, replace them all with stainless steel. You'll be doing yourself a big favor, because I didn't even notice I had a license plate light out and I had an inspection coming up. So I just bought a light, brought it home, went to throw it in, thinking it was going to be like a 5-minute process. It ended up being like a 2-day process. Because like I said, I had to take that 4runner emblem off from the inside, cut the light housing out with a Dremel tool, and then put a whole new one in, just because the screw heads were all rusted off. But anyway, 5-minute video. I'd planned on it being a lot shorter, but I tend to ramble on. But anyway, thanks for watching if you are watching, and I'll talk to you later.